getting ready to turn the camera. Okay. Here I come, man. I have a process. That's right. You like my that's custom art for tropics, man. We had custom artwork. Yeah. It is, yes. Yeah. Thank you. Sounds good. How you doing? It-
How you doing? Well, you can't really go too far without finding the book.
So maybe by the fall we'll come down to visit. Okay. All right. We'll let you know, man. Wait for more people to get vaccinated. All right.
Did you need a glass? You got your glass of water? What's your whiskey?
Good to see you. We're not. We're not on Mind and Soul, so they got rid of the host. It's all automated. They're keep getting. It's gonna start. I've been had to figure out some technical things because I want to be on multiple platforms at the same time in stream, and so we got it figured out now. So we will be launching. I want to do it this Thursday, but I don't think it's going to happen. So next week. Right. So that's why I'm rushing it. I've been taking the time because I wanted to do it in March, but I said I'm just going to let it go with the flow and get this together properly. Right. Yep. I normally do the enterprise, next generation enterprise bridge. That's what I do a lot. Yeah, I can believe that. Man, at F59, I get high flashes naturally. Yeah. Yeah, you told me about that. Okay. Right. That that's why you have a that's because yeah. Okay. I hear you fine.
We are live, brother. Good evening and welcome to the show. Get ready. I am your host, the KCOG, also known as the Opinionated Grandpa. This gentleman is Jay Meyers, also known as J Funk with Funktropolis. And we're going to get into a little bit of independent media this evening. Hopefully people can join me here on the conversation. Please like and share. We are trying to grow the network. Not worried about money. I'm just worried about getting the messages out. So you don't see any Cash Apps or Vimeo or any of that. All you're seeing is me promoting other media outlets. And as I do that, I also want to go ahead and mention out a couple of other things, a couple of organizations and other media outlets I'd like to shout out. Number one is Malcolm X Memorial Foundation at malcolmxfound.org. Do, if you can, support the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. That's in Omaha, Nebraska. It's the birthplace of Malcolm X. I have a particular attachment to that because I spent about 10 years on their board while I was living in Omaha. Got about 15 to 17 acres of land that needs to be developed up there, and it's a good cause. It really is a good cause. Also, I would suggest that you do support KUAW.org, which is an independent radio station out of Kansas City, Missouri. That is where Brother George Walker, that's his operation, and hopefully he'll have a chance to join me a little later. Last but not least, I want to get out on the national front here, and if you haven't checked out Roland Martin Unfiltered, do check him out. He's on YouTube. Also, one of my favorite programs that I like listening to, especially in the morning, is the Black Power Media, which you can find at Black Power Media 1. Yeah, hopefully I said that right. I normally have that scrolling across my screen, but I don't have that going for me right now. With that said, I'm going to jump into the conversation a little bit. As soon as we get J Funk back in his seat, we'll go ahead and just jump right into some things. First of all, there are a lot of people out here, YouTubers, as you may know, that are doing an awful lot with what they're calling media. I've been spending a lot of time, Jay, checking a lot of these folks out, and I'm hearing some good, I'm hearing some bad. The one thing I'm not hearing is enough people trying to pull together to create an independent media operation that is able to support itself. And I know how difficult it is to get money through organizations and things of that nature, and particularly when you're talking about news programs. Where I'm going with that, of course, Jay, is that nobody's used to paying for news.
That's right. That's right.
And so Go ahead, sir.
So I'm involved with a couple of startups, my own startup, and then another startup that's going to be I'm involved in. And one of the pilot shows will be news with a well-known anchor. He was national anchor, local national anchor, and that'll be starting real soon. Probably, I'll give it another 30 to 60 days. We're still setting up the studio, so that's happening. But it's just people need to understand that it's very important that we have our own media, that we tell our story from our perspective, because we don't want someone else telling our story, because when someone else tells your story, their prejudices come into play.
And you said a mouthful there. You can look at the recent story on Tulsa.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, mainstream media is all of a sudden paying attention to Tulsa, Greenwood, Black Wall Street, all that.
Right.
And I'm quite sure a lot of people in the community had knowledge of Black Wall Street and what happened in Greenwood. I know I knew about it in the 90s. So that information has been out there. And the underside of what I'm seeing in the media, Jay, is they're just reminding us that 100 years ago this happened.
Correct.
They haven't said anything about any reparations, any compensation to the families that went through that, and there still are survivors alive. And even to the point of rebuilding the Greenwood district, they have not done anything to provide funds for that to happen. So,
well, they just rebuilding, but it's not affecting Black people. Black people are being rebuilt. It's gentrification.
That's true. That's exactly what it is. But this is what's so funny, man, is that they're now going to profit off of our misery again.
Yes. It'll become a tourist attraction off of the Black people. Right.
And the Black folks, like you said, the real part of Greenwood, the Black section of Greenwood, the freeway that they put through there doesn't even have an exit for you to get off in Greenwood.
Right.
It drives you right over it. Matter of fact, the overpass, Roland Martin did the whole Memorial Day weekend there and showed everything, all the celebrations, everything from a Black perspective. And that's one of the reasons I shouted out his show, is because he spent a lot of time and a lot of his money doing that, which gave a great perspective to the Black community. But also that's where you saw the difference in the reporting, because Roland Martin was constantly reminding us that there has been no compensation paid, no effort to rebuild Greenwood. I mean, these folks are still trying to get the state and the local government to even recognize that they owe.
Well, they don't even want to talk about it in Oklahoma. I mean, it's something they don't want to talk about. They don't want to acknowledge that it happened. In fact, the whole country tried to write it out of the history books. I never heard this in the history books growing up. I heard it, as you stated, I think I heard it in the 90s sometime, about Black Wall Street and what it was. I had to look it up on my own. But another thing that's come across is Wilmington, North Carolina, where the group of white people ran out the government, which was run by Black people.
Yes. And that was a very sad stage, because that's the only city in the United States where they literally had a coup and threw out the elected government of that particular city. It's more history. I mean, that's been out there. And the worst of the one that they are not talking about is Elaine, Arkansas, where they have estimated over 300 people came up missing
Yes.
Missing. They haven't found these people yet, and they're still looking for it. So what I'm saying is a lot of this came out of the 1919 Red Summer. Greenwood, Tulsa, went down in 1921. And then from there, it jumped off into a hanging almost every day throughout the South and the country during that time period. And one of the things that I get people to realize, especially with my program, Get Ready, people, Jay, sometimes shoot at me, what do you mean get ready? I mean, we're not aware of what's going on. So the first thing about getting ready is being aware and knowing the history. If we don't understand that what we're seeing right now happened 100 years ago, we need to understand that that's a cycle. Why is the cycle in place? It's because just like 100 years ago, white folks were feeling threatened. You got to also keep in mind that they were just recently, around that time, 1919, maybe 20 years, maybe at max, out of Reconstruction. 20, 30 years out of Reconstruction, which was stolen away from black folks.
Yes. With the what was it, the compromise?
Yeah, the compromise of, what was it, 1988 or whatever? We got to understand the whole history behind this thing. Here's the other thing we got to realize is that the role the government has been playing in this whole thing the entire time. What I'm getting at is this is stuff you do not hear in mainstream media. And to me, this is the importance of why independent, particularly black media, is so important. So I'm gonna turn it over to you for a minute, Jay. You were starting to get into a little information about your network. Let's go ahead and talk about you mentioned news.
Yeah. So Carlos and I actually started working together 5 years ago at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation to start a radio station, a terrestrial radio station. And we did a terrestrial radio station, and we also did a streaming piece of that station. And I was involved in building the website, but I knew something about this industry and media, my thoughts on media. And so we collaborated, and we created something that at the time was something Omaha had never had, actually. Even when we did have KOWH, we didn't have Mind and Soul. So, yeah. That's true. So from Mind and Soul, we kept, Carlos, things didn't go as planned for either one of us. Mm-hmm. And so we, Carlos retired and moved back to Kansas City. But I reached out to him, we talked, we kept communicating. And I told him that I was launching a media company called Release It Media. And so on Release It Media, we're going to have the hard discussions. Part of one of the shows will be about having these discussions and talking about these hidden stories about our country. Do you know that New York, Central Park was once a black settlement?
Oh, yeah. People don't understand the whole meaning. They talk about Black Wall Street and don't even understand that Wall Street in New York was part of Central Park, and Wall Street was part of the black community there before they went in and literally built the wall to separate it from the black community there. And people don't know that backstory. You're absolutely right, Jay.
So we have to talk.
Go ahead.
So that's the importance of black media. We have to bring up these stories. We have to have a discussion about these stories. We have to educate our communities about these stories. And once we educate, we will get ready for what's coming. If we don't start doing this and start building, like Greenwood, build a strong community, because that's the other thing. You have to have strong media, black media, but you need to have strong black community. And this education, I believe, can help us come together. And there's examples of black people when we were segregated. And in a way, I think integration hurt the black community a lot because it took away our self-reliance, and we started taking money out of our community. And when money doesn't circulate in your community, 3 to 5 times, your community dies. And so that's what we see across this country. So, but now, I see negative things happening, but I also see positive. I see awakenings happening, especially in our late 20s to 30-year-olds. I see awakenings happening, and I believe that we will. I'm hoping what Roland Martin says, that we're in the third Reconstruction, and I hope.
Well, I hope he's right. Although I get it with the third Reconstruction. I hate to say that we have to go through this again, but I'm going to back up to another very important point that you were just making, and that's the fact that with young people awakening, it is very important that we get the correct information into their hands. There's so much with today's options in the media, particularly YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and everything else that is going on out there. Our young people seem to be stuck in the entertainment phase still more than anything else. As I go out on YouTube and check out the different programs that are out there, I find that the entertainment programs like Kevin Samuels and some others are getting amazing hits just because of their entertainment value. I don't know if you're familiar with Kevin Samuels, but the guy, he's done quite well for himself with YouTube. And now you got everybody out there trying to chase that same success. One of the programs that I shouted out earlier, the Black Power Media, and I know that scare a lot of people when they hear them words together, Black Power, and then you say media behind it, but actually Dr. Jared Ball, I've been following that brother for a while. That brother ran for the presidency of the United States with the Green Party back in 2004, somewhere way back then. And I remember picking him up. He's I believe he works at Morgan State. He is a professor. I just can't remember if he's in literature or Africana studies or whatever the case may be. But the brother is pretty brilliant. And what he does with Black Power Media is just amazing. You get well, before I go there, let me say this. Through our 487, 89 years that black folk have been in this country, every time we have a movement that is designed to lift even the lowest of our people up, that movement is destroyed. Whether it's done internally through people running their mouths as snitches back in the old days, you're starting to see some stuff on Nat Turner starting to circulate now on social media, where the Nat Turner story is starting to get out there. Again, it's very important that we get the right information to these youngsters at the right time. If they're gonna, and going back to what Jared is doing, or Dr. Ball is doing with Black Power Media, this brother had a session where he brought back brothers that were part of the Black Panther Party, the Black Liberation Army, there was another one, the All People's Revolutionary Party. These are real revolutionaries that actually did work back in the 60s and 70s, and a lot of these brothers got locked up for the work that they did. Now, some of these brothers are having the opportunity to emerge out of jail, but not all of them are out yet. And some of these brothers that are emerging out of jail are still very militant. And what we don't understand is a lot of these brothers had some of the best minds, and they've been locked up all these years. That is the reason they've been locked up all these years. These brothers figured out a way to buck the system and do it in a way to where, for the most part, they got away with it. Right. Most of these brothers that went to jail back then went to jail through COINTELPRO trumped up charges. They didn't. A lot of these brothers didn't really commit actual crimes. Excuse me. But anyway, Brother Jay, yeah, I totally agree with that a lot of this, but Black Power Media, and where I'm going with that is that the one thing we haven't tried is to go back to the Black Power movement that COINTELPRO destroyed in the 60s and 70s, because as that movement was starting to make its connections, the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover really destroyed that movement purposely. So again, hopefully people will support what he's doing over there with Black Power Media. I was hoping to have Brother Walker come on and talk about what he's doing with KUAW.org here in Kansas City. The brother runs 24/7 as far as the station is concerned. He has live as well as recorded programs on the station. Most of his programs, are pretty much all the ones I've seen, are video, and it's all done on the internet. And it's a medium that a lot of people will prefer to have at this time. They prefer to get
leverage, man, because there's not a lot of cost and investment, and there's really reasonable cost ways to get on the internet and leverage the platforms that are out there. So that's what I'm going to do. As soon as we launch, we'll have social political. We will do entertainment, because music has always been part of our history and part of the revolution. So, but we're going to have social political. We're going to have health programs on health, mental health, visualization of how to move forward in your goals and what you would like to do with your life and your career. We're going to have programs that will be uplifting and education to the youth and to everyone that listens.
Don't forget one very important thing, and that is coalesce building and nation building at this time. It is extremely crucial at this point that we understand the importance of organizations working together to support each other. Okay,
most definitely.
And this goes, I mean, it probably would not happen, but this goes from the largest organization that say that they support the Black community all the way down to the grassroots organization. One of the things I've been harping on here recently there, Brother J. Funk, is that we got too many Black folks that belong to secret organizations. I'm talking about sororities, fraternities, Masons, Shriners. I mean, look, we don't know what your agenda is, because you're sheathed behind your organization. And right now, we can't afford any more of this. if y'all actually are talking about doing work to empower black people, it's time for y'all to come out from behind the sheath and the mystery of your organization, of your frat, of your organization, of your Shriner or Masonry or Eastern Star, no matter what it is. It's time for y'all to step away from that and say it's time for us to organize on behalf of our people. Okay? You can't even do it under the name of those organizations because whatever secrets y'all keep within your organizations, I mean, that's for your organization. What I'm saying is, just like Stacey Abrams down in Georgia had the sororities to step into the polls in order to get people out to vote for the Democrats in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I mean, I'm saying all this stuff is genius, pure genius. But can't we do this stuff to move our people in the direction of our own agenda? That is, its only purpose is to lift our people up. That's its only purpose. I hate to say it that way, but we've been distracted by too much bullshit. And I'm gonna throw one right at you right now. All I'm gonna say is Black Lives Matter. Now I'm gonna let you take it from there.
Black lives matter. Black lives do matter.
They do.
You know, that organization has its place, but it shouldn't be the only organization. And it you know, and I don't agree with everything they do. But their purpose of coming together was to stop black people from being killed. And so that should be the purpose and the main purpose.
Let me break that down a little deeper there, Brother Jay. Black Lives Matter started off as a slogan. Over the internet, that's how it built its steam, as a slogan. And going all the way back to Trayvon Martin. When they started treating out Black Lives Matter. Now, the slogan Black Lives Matter is truth. Yeah. Considering what's been going on in our community since. But the cops killing us and all that. The problem I have with Black Lives Matter was twofold. There's something called the Open Society, which is funded by a guy by the name of George Soros. Now, this is not Republican conspiracy theory. I am nowhere near a supporter of Trump, okay? So when you hear this, I don't want people to say, the brothers on QAnon, no, this is truth. This is absolute truth, man. So, excuse me for a minute, man. All of a sudden, I'm getting a stickle in my throat. But with Black Lives Matter, George Soros, and a lot of people didn't know that George Soros was also, and the Open Society was also throwing money behind Barack Obama's campaign. That's how I figured out. And if you remember back in the day, I was one of the lone wolf out there saying that Barack Obama was not going to do anything for black people. That we were throwing away our vote if y'all thought he was going to do anything. And then I'm going to get this back on part, but you know, this show gives me a chance to rant a little bit, so I do. But then to bring this back on point, after Barack Obama leaves office, he flat out comes out and say in two separate interviews. First interview, he said, I couldn't address the violence that was going on in Chicago the way I wanted to address the violence because it would have given a bad perception to my constituents. What he was actually saying is, I couldn't say anything because I was planning to run for another 4 years and I wanted people to vote for me.
Yeah.
Then he turned around and said, yes, I believe black folks deserve reparations, but I could not push that agenda while I was in the White House. Because he knew white folks would kill his ass if he did. Okay?
That's true.
Now, let's bring this all the way back to where I'm saying with Black Lives Matter. I don't know if you were aware that Black Lives Matter had amassed $90 million in donations through what's called Black Lives Matter Global Network.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Patrice Concolors, the executive director of the Black Lives Matter Global Network, recently resigned the position as executive director. She also, prior to resigning, was caught on record purchasing not one, not two, not three, but several pieces of property in the Los Angeles area of California. Now, this is before she left. Okay, just recently, within the last 2 weeks, she left Black Lives Matter Global Network. Now, still, there's been no accounting of the money, in particularly the 90 grand that they received through donations. And I'm not talking about money going to anybody but those families that the Black Lives slogan helped galvanize the movement that Black Lives Matter turned into. None of those families has been compensated with that money. And then what about the people on the ground that did the hard work? Y'all forgot about Ferguson, Baltimore, where was it in Tennessee? Was it Memphis or Knoxville where the young lady?
Isn't that when it really galvanized the situation? Yeah.
That's what started. Now, none of those people have been compensated. Okay. Here's the other thing that when I heard, and I'm not homophobic or anything like this, but when I heard that the three sisters that organized Black Lives Matter were part of the gay community, I had some reservations at that point. Now, people are going to say, Carlos, what are you saying? Well, Jay, at this point, anything we do in our leadership has to be balanced. It has to be balanced by men and women. Neither one of us can move forward without the other.
True.
We have to set that example in leadership because we have to rebuild the Black family and understand the importance of the Black family. We have to do those things. Those are things we have to do. But where's that going with Black Lives Matter? They had other issues other than freeing black folks that they were involved in. And to me, if you're going to have a movement that's going to get us where we need to be, we have to be focused solely on us. Just like I said at the top with Black Power Media. It's all about us, man. We can't continue to try to lift everybody with us. And if you look at that, within the grand nature of things, within the balance of our spirit, we're carrying too much weight. You see, we're carrying way too much weight. We're trying to lift everybody with us. Let's not do that. Let's just lift us. As we rise, well, they say that all boats rise, what they say in the tide?
Yeah, all boats rise.
Yeah, you know. Well, let's make that a black tie so we can make those things rise.
We need to focus on building the Black community, the Black communities. When I said Black Lives Matter has a place, I mean, I don't think they should be the number one or only organization that we have. So
Hi,
Tina,
wifey.
your car.
That's my wife. She's looking from her cell phone or her. Looks like her
Okay.
cell phone. Hi.
So,
Go right ahead.
hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. So we need to, in the communities that we're in, we need to focus and work with others in our community that we can work with and align with that have the same vision that we do. If they don't have the same vision that we do, then we can't put a lot of time and effort into it. And as you stated, that we can't lift everybody. We need to lift ourselves.
That's exactly it in a nutshell.
Lifted everybody for almost 500 years, actually.
Yes. Yes. So let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's get into some Funktropolis, man, because I missed it. I missed it. Jay, look here, y'all. When Mine and Soul first went on air, and we was working together back in the day with Mine and Soul, I happened to pop in one night when they were doing Funktropolis, and I had so much damn fun that a couple of times after I got off work, I pop in over there just to do Funktropolis, or I make sure when I'm at work, if I couldn't get there, I have it on, and my hours changed, and I think I was getting off at 10, so I couldn't get there while you were on air, so I had to listen to you at work, but I enjoyed the funk.
Tell them when you said to me, I said I was going to do a funk show. Tell them what you said.
Well,
you don't remember?
I don't remember. Go ahead. Throw it out there.
You better bring it. You better know what you doing. You better bring it.
That's probably did say that because I was a huge fan of funk back in the day. Matter of fact, one of my funkiest funk fans is the Funkadelic. Everybody knew I was a Funkadelic fan from back in the day. But you went and brought back some funk you covered the spectrum of funk.
I do. I cover funk from 1967 to now. That's what I cover funk. And so everybody that's in creating the funk, and I find them, I'm going to play it. If it's good funk. Now, it's not you can't fake the funk.
No.
You can't fake it. Yeah.
No.
But we bring the funk. And so, we play Confunction. We play the capital of funk, and you have to admit the capital of funk is Ohio.
Yeah.
And the center of that is Dayton. And so we play those bands. You can't leave out JB. You can't leave out the groups that birthed from JB.
Right.
James Brown, the JBs, and then, Bootsy moved over to Parliament Funkadelic. So you got to bring Parliament Funkadelic. You got to bring, and then you have Quasar. You just have all these Mutiny. You have all these bands that were created when things weren't going well with Parliament Funkadelic. Then other people out and did some other things. So Don Silva, who actually came from Sly and the Family Stone to Parliament Funkadelic. But yeah, man, we play. We don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite section of the funk. I love the funk.
And see, and you brought up one that a lot of people didn't know how funky they was, and that was Sly and the Family Stone. Sly had some funk back in the 70s now.
Funk, man. That's where, Larry Graham created the slap pop.
Yeah.
He created pumping on a bass with pump. Yeah. So he created that style. We bring the jazz. We bring the jazz funk in also. We bring Stanley Clark. We bring Herbie Hancock. We bring other people didn't know Ramsey Lewis did a funk album. Ramsey Lewis did, what's the name of that funk? Spider-Man.
That's right.
Feels good. So again, when I find the funk, play the funk. Doesn't matter where it came from.
See, and that's the beautiful thing about Funktropolis, because it gets funky, y'all. Y'all got to know how funky it is. Tell them what you open with your show.
we opened with Copy Girls theme from The Wiz, and that's cute. That's Quincy Jones, a song by Quincy Jones, but it's so funky, and so that's what we're with, and then we jump in with the intro that's funky, and we just keep on funky.
No, that's right. And how do you close it out?
We close it out with Maggot Brain. That's what we close it out.
See, I didn't think a lot of people even knew about Maggot Brain because here's the interesting thing about Funkadelics. They didn't realize that Funkadelics was actually two groups, Parliament and Funkadelic. Parliament was the so-called R&B group that rolled into the funk side.
Yeah.
But Funkadelic was a rock side of the group. And a lot of them, matter of fact, the first time I saw the group, I didn't see Parliament. I saw Funkadelic.
Okay. So
I saw Funkadelic. Look.
You had Funkadelic version, which was carrying on Jimmy. They wanted to carry on Jimmy's style of guitar playing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they created Funkadelic to do that. And then you had the soul and the R&B, which Parliament. For me, I heard Parliament first, right?
Yeah.
And then I was over at a friend's house and they were playing Funkadelic. And I'm going, why does that sound like Parliament? And I looked at them and I looked at the albums. I was like, okay, I get it. They're the same band, but under, two different names. Yeah.
You know the story behind that too, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because George Clinton with his slick ass was trying to make all the money.
I started. They started out as the Parliaments, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a doo-wop, and they had a hit out of Detroit called "Testify," and the record label that they put it on went out of business. So their name was caught up in litigation. Parliaments was caught up in litigation. So they had the band. They wanted to keep doing things. So they said we have to come up with a new name. And Billy Bass came up with Funkadelic. And so they started performing under Funkadelic. And then I think it took 2 to 3 years to get Parliaments out of litigation. But George just said, you know what, we're gonna call ourselves Parliaments.
Right.
And created went away from doo-wop and went in and started doing funk. And as I said, theatrical funk. Because that's where all the costumes and everything. He said that he took a lot of hints from Disney because he said characters live forever. So that's why he created the characters. Sir knows the Funkenstein. Yeah.
And he was really, really creative in the way that he came about that, and he just kept pushing these characters out, and it worked. Because who does not remember Sir Knows the Void, the Funk, or better yet, who doesn't remember the Mothership?
Correct. You can't forget.
And what was the other character?
Star Child.
Star Child. Yes. So very funky group all the way through. Love the group. Love the fact that you started your program with funk, and you went back and you got. Mandrill. Now, see, when I was in my teens, early 20s, I was kind of a black hippie. So I gravitated to music like Mandrill, Sly and the Family Stone, Funkadelic, Chamber Brothers. I don't know if you were familiar with the Chamber Brothers, but I gravitated. Yeah. So that was the music I was listening to during that phase. And then as I matured, then I discovered the R&B side of it with, of course, my man Marvin Gaye, and Stevie Wonder was just dropping all kind of science in his songs, man, and I really never knew how romantic some of Stevie Wonder's work were until I was much older, and I sat back and just listened to it. But I had all that going on back there. But bringing it back to the funk, man, you guys brought it, and it was just the whole vibe, the energy between you, Paul, your wife. It was the lighting, the music. It was the whole thing that kind of came together, just created an atmosphere that was really, really fun, not only to listen to. I really wish you guys could have gotten the majority of them shows on video. I think people would have loved it.
I think you're right. So, we're gonna go video. We're gonna do video and audio at the same time, and we're gonna have to do it virtual. So, but we hopefully can bring that energy. We actually did do a Zoom party, and it worked out pretty well. So
is that right?
We had the energy of Funktropolis in that Zoom party. So it'll transfer to digital and virtual. So
let me know when you're planning to do that again, Brother Jay, so that I can help get that information out, and maybe even become a part of it, man. Because the main thing that I'm trying to get us to understand is that we need to collaborate. We need to work together. We need to find ways to work together. We're not going to always agree, but we can find some, as long as we don't become disagreeable.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand when a person gets disagreeable, it's over. You can't go anywhere with them. You see what I'm saying? But
you have to find ways.
Go ahead and say that again.
You have to find ways to work together.
There you go.
Don't find areas that you can work together. We may not be able to work on every aspect, every piece that needs to be worked on, but we can find a piece that we can work together. So you and I are both social, I call social political conscious, and I definitely want to bring what you're doing over to the platform I'm building. So we'll collaborate there.
There's a lot that I do. If you following me on Facebook with either Community Talk Radio or Carlos Carr or the KCOG, I'm posting constantly on different materials, short videos, information, trying to keep people updated on what's going on from our perspective. I do a lot of reposting of Roland Martin's work. I haven't done Black Power Media's because generally their program, they don't take the excerpts out of their programs like Roland Martin does. So for me to go in and do something from Black Power Media, I literally have to go in and dissect their program and take what I want. And I don't want to do that. I mean, they're a young company. They're growing. They have a lineup of about 9 hosts.
9 hosts? Okay.
9 hosts. And out of those 9, 4 to 5 of them are individuals with doctorate degrees. Dr. Layla Brown, oh boy, I know these Dr. She calls herself CBS, but her name is Stelly. Jarek Ball is a doctor. So they bring on a lot of intellectuals. So it's intellectual, but it is definitely about Black Power. It is definitely a little to the left on the dial, which we're a little scared of. but it does break down the need for us to come together, the information that lets us know why we need to come together, and the information that show us how we can come together. There's some really good programming on there. So if you get a chance, again, it's Black Power Media. I believe it's Black Power med1.org, as I believe is their site. But you can also go to YouTube and just type in Black Power Media. It'll come up on YouTube. So with that, we got about 4 minutes left in the programming. So Jay, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Just do your thing, promote your network, give all the information, website, where they can find you, all of that.
So we are Release It Media, releaseitmedia.com. Right now, the radio is streaming. We have several playlists streaming. We'll be actually, for the month of June, we will be doing all Prince mixes. That's what we do for the month of June. We do Prince we do 2-hour mixes of Prince. Hopefully we'll get live for a couple of those. That's the plan. And that would be Funktropolis on Release It Media. And then Funktropolis, Release It Media is on pretty much all the platforms. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And we haven't launched, though. The launch is coming right now. You'll see some promos that we have out there for what we're going to be doing. Funktropolis, we have a bunch of archive programs out there on Mixcloud, so it's Mixcloud/Funktropolis. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And we're going to keep funking. We're going to keep telling the truth when it comes to our history and educating.
That's the way we need to do it. I hope y'all got all that information. Again, that's Release It Media. Is that .com?
ReleaseItMedia.com.
Let's go in and check it out. Let's support Brother Jay Meyers and his endeavor. And you need to really check out Funktropolis. Jay, tell them how well renowned Funktropolis is.
Well, Funktropolis is syndicated in Europe, and we have close to 400,000 followers in Europe. And we are an affiliate and an ambassador for the Funk Museum Hall of Fame out of Dayton, Ohio. We have worked with or interviewed the co-writer of Mary Jane, which is Billy Nunn. We have interviewed Tommy Jenkins. He's a friend of Funktropolis. Nathaniel Phillips, the trumpeter and backup vocalist, is a friend of Funktropolis and interviewed on Funktropolis. And Charlie Singleton, friend of Funktropolis. Marlon One Gun out of Maserati. I'm getting an interview with Brown Mark right now. Working on getting interviews with Maceo Parker and some of the Greg Boyer, some of the guys from James Brown to Prince's horn section.
Man, that is fantastic. And I know
Greg Boyer.
Yes.
Greg Boyer played for Funkadelic for a while. Yeah.
Yes, and I do remember hearing some of those interviews. They were quite enlightening with the musicians talking about their role in the band and the music and how the music came together, the composition, little stories in between with tour dates. I mean, you do an excellent job with that. And again, I want people to get in touch with releaseitmedia.com. And you say it's going to kick off when, Brother Jay?
Well, the Funktropolis piece will kick off. We're going to kick that off next week.
Next week?
Do a live show next week.
Okay. You know what day?
Thursday. Thursday.
You gonna stay on Thursday?
Gonna stay on Thursday.
Yeah, 2-hour show. Are we gonna get 7 to 9 like we used to get?
No, we're gonna go 8 to 10.
8 to 10. That's even better.
8 to 10.
Y'all heard it, y'all. Funktropolis is coming back live. You want to introduce the whole crew, the Funktropolis? We're gonna start with you, J Funk.
J Funk. I'm a host. We have Paul B. Double E. He is another Funketeer, and then we have Sister Cataclysm, the bomb. If she can blow your mind, she will.
We saw a glimpse of her earlier in the conversation, and then give our best to her again. And
sure
we are looking forward, at least I am, definitely get that out. Hit my email, hit me with a text, hit me on Facebook, hit me with something to let me know when Funktropolis is back on for show. If you're going to lock it down for next Thursday between 8 and 10, I'm going to go ahead and put that on my calendar right now. And
also, we have another DJ that I'm working with out of DC. His name is DJ Purple Eclipse.
His name is what?
DJ Purple Eclipse.
Purple Eclipse. You broke up just a little bit there. Gotcha. Well, it sounds like...
He actually has connections. He's been connected with Prince and the New Power Generation.
Okay.
Was hanging around and working with Prince during that. And so he brings a lot of the Minneapolis history with him, and huge Prince fan, even bigger than me. So he brings us the bootlegs and everything when it comes to Prince. And he has a lot of like the connections to Mexico that would be coming through him. Drake Boyer comes through him. So those interviews will be because of that relationship.
That is fantastic. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for the evening. Before I go, let me hit you with something and see if you've seen it. I've been raising awareness to a movie called Antebellum. Have you heard of the movie Antebellum?
Yes.
Have you actually seen it?
I've not seen it.
Okay. Check that. Go to YouTube and just hit the Antebellum trailer. That's all you really need to see. Once you see the trailers and you see what this movie's about, my question is, why at this time did they decide to produce that movie in 1920? That's my question. But you got to see it to understand where it's coming from. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Again, I'm your host, the KCOG, also known as the Opinionated Grandpa, because I will give my opinion and sometimes you may not like it. Because I'm a grandpa, I can say what I want to say when I want to say it. I'm official. I'm among the old folks. So with that said, I'm going to just have some fun with it. And Jay, I really appreciate you taking the time out and coming on to the show. I wish you the best of success with the launch of the releaseitmedia.com and the relaunching of Funktropolis next week. Hopefully people will tune in and check you out on that. And I'm going to wish you the best success upon all of that. Keep me attuned to what you got going, especially when you're ready to collaborate as far as material. Would love to send some material to me. Just tell me what you need and how much of it you need, and we can go from there.
Sounds good. All right, Carlos. We got it.
Thank you, brother.
Tell me what your funk name is. C squared.
C squared.
Yeah, that's right.
That was it. And with that C Squared, the KCOG, and the Opinionated Grandpa. We out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. Look, Michael Scott has always said, be kind to each other. I'm telling you, that's real. You don't need to cuss and yell at everybody. Black folks, we need to take a chill pill. We need to take a chill pill. Be good to each other. Chill out. Everybody have a good night. We're going to holler at y'all soon. Have a great evening.
Mike.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.